Just a day before the mid-July final at MetLife Stadium, FIFA dropped a bombshell. The 2026 World Cup generated a record-shattering $15 billion in revenue. Meanwhile, macroeconomic reports revealed a completely opposite reality. This mega event is projected to add a mere 0.05% to the US GDP, a number so small it is practically invisible on a national economic chart. What is the paradox here? Millions flocked to North America, hotel prices spiked by 90%, and black market tickets sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Why didn't that massive cash flow become a life-changing economic boost for the host nations, but instead flowed straight into the pockets of a non-profit organization in Switzerland? Let's decode the most powerful financial machine in global sports, the economics of the 2026 World Cup. The 2026 World Cup made history as the largest tournament ever, with 48 teams and 104 matches spread across 16 cities in the US, Canada, and Mexico. Unlike Qatar 2022, which spent over $220 billion building everything from the sand up, the North American Alliance heavily utilized a lean infrastructure model. But the price tag wasn't the same for every destination. The 2026 hosting picture can be broken down into three core investment tiers. Tier 1, the retrofit satellites, costing $50 to $150 million per city. Think of places like Monterrey and Mexico City. They already had historic soccer sanctuaries like the Estadio Azteca. They didn't build from scratch. They poured money into VIP hospitality suites, digital tech, and commercial amenities to meet FIFA's luxury standards. Tier 2, the ultra-lean megacities, costing $150 to $300 million. Think Los Angeles with SoFi Stadium or New York and New Jersey with MetLife. These are the cash cows. They spent almost $0 on new stadiums, thanks to the already expensive NFL ecosystem. Instead, their public budgets were swallowed by municipal services, police overtime, extreme traffic management, and massive downtown fan fests. Tier 3, the bottleneck upgrades, costing $300 to over $500 million. Cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Because their existing stadiums were smaller, they were forced to spend hundreds of millions building temporary seating for tens of thousands of fans, while upgrading transit and infrastructure just to meet FIFA's capacity thresholds. Even though they avoided the trillion-dollar stadium curse, hosting the North American World Cup was far from cheap. Hidden costs and macro barriers are what truly erode a host nation's profit margins. First, the massive security and public service bill. Research from Allianz Trade estimated security costs alone for the 2026 tournament hit $1 billion. In the U.S., each host city had to pull $100 to $200 million from taxpayer money just to pay for sanitation, emergency medical services, and thousands of police officers. Second, the visa and entry bottleneck. Even though FIFA sells tickets globally, strict U.S. immigration laws created an economic choke point. Reports showed visa rejection rates for non-European tourists averaged 33%, hitting a staggering 74% in countries like Senegal. This directly blocked high-spending tourists, starving the local hospitality sector of foreign currency. Finally, the FIFA tax holiday. As a mandatory rule, host cities must sign legal concessions, establishing exclusive commercial zones where all transactions by FIFA and its partners are tax-free. Local governments pay to protect the event, but are stripped of their right to recoup costs through taxes. To understand the financial mechanism that helped FIFA hit $15 billion, picture a landlord and lord relationship. The host nation is the landlord. They pay to decorate the house, hire the guards, and clean the streets. FIFA is the lord, the one holding the exclusive entertainment product the whole world craves. Therefore, the lord takes all the core revenues. According to the 2023 to 2026 cycle data, the three biggest gold mines flow 100% to FIFA. TV rights, estimated at $3.9 billion. Global sponsorships, around $2.8 billion. And ticketing and VIP services, about $3 billion. The host gets 0 cents from these contracts. Their only hope is that tourists will spend money outside FIFA jurisdiction, on restaurants, hotels, and taxis. But here is the counterintuitive insight: FIFA's black market tax. By July 2026, sources revealed part of how FIFA shattered its revenue projection was through the secondary ticket market. When demand for 104 matches went insane, reselling exploded. But FIFA runs its resale platform as an absolute monopoly. If you want to resell your ticket, you must use their system, where FIFA takes a massive double cut, a 15% fee from the buyer and another 15% fee from the seller. With prime final tickets inflated over $10,000, FIFA just sat back as algorithms automatically skimmed thousands in commission per click. Meanwhile, the host nations suffered the crowding out effect. Regular tourists canceled their North American trips because hotel prices skyrocketed. The loud soccer fans simply replaced the regular tourists, rather than creating the massive consumer growth politicians promised. The biggest operational difference during the 39 days of the 2026 World Cup didn't happen on the pitch. It happened in the stands and retail systems. FIFA's operational secret revolves around one term: engineered premium scarcity. Instead of packing in as many cheap seats as possible, FIFA maximized marginal revenue in massive U.S. stadiums by converting thousands of regular seats into hospitality zones, glass-enclosed VIP suites serving truffles, fine wine, and exclusive chauffeurs. This is how FIFA drained millions from multinational corporations and America's ultra-rich for a closed-loop sports vacation right at home. Furthermore, the 2026 World Cup fully weaponized dynamic pricing on a global scale. Ticket and side event prices fluctuated minute by minute, just like an Uber surge, ensuring not a single dime of surplus value was left to the free market. To look at this objectively, let's dissect the economic successes and illusions of summer 2026 through two perspectives. First, the success case. Los Angeles and infrastructure optimization. LA hosted 8 matches, including critical games at the Mega SoFi and Rose Bowl stadiums. The event generated an estimated $594 million in direct economic impact. The root cause? LA won big because they strictly adhered to infrastructure austerity. They spent zero public dollars on concrete and steel. Owning a private superstructure like SoFi meant the city just had to open its doors to collect tourism revenue. The lesson? Mega events only profit cities that are already overdeveloped, turning the World Cup into a busy weekend business operation rather than a life-or-death bid for transformation. Second, the strategic mistake, the American tourism illusion. Initially, reports promised the World Cup would pump $80 billion into the global economy. However, an in-depth economic analysis released in June 2026 poured cold water on this, projecting a U.S. GDP boost of a microscopic 0.05%. The root cause of this shattered expectation is ignoring opportunity cost. An American family that usually vacations at the Grand Canyon decided to spend that money flying to Texas for soccer. Texas's revenue goes up, but the Grand Canyon's goes down. On a macroeconomic scale, total consumer spending didn't explode. It just moved from the left pocket to the right. Mid-sized host cities were left with a massive cleaning bill without the miraculous economic boost they were promised. To see who the absolute winner is, let's look at the cash flows in 2 scenarios. Scenario A, the Lord's model, FIFA. Capital expenditure on infrastructure, $0, since they borrow 100% of the host stadiums. Operational expenditure, roughly $2 to $3 billion. Direct revenue, $15 billion from TV, sponsors, and secondary market fees. Net profit, astronomical. The payback period? Cash hits the account even before the opening whistle. Scenario B, the satellite city model, a U.S. host city. Capital expenditure, $100 to $150 million for fanfests and transit. Operational expenditure, $150 million for police and medics over 40 days. Direct revenue, tourists generate about $500 million in local spending, but the city only captures the 8 to 10% sales tax, equivalent to about $50 million. Net profit for the public balance sheet, a deficit of hundreds of millions of dollars. So, why do countries still line up to bid for the World Cup? Because for superpowers, this isn't a financial bet. It's a game of soft power, the most expensive geopolitical PR campaign in the world. In the economics of the World Cup, FIFA is the corporate party planner taking all the profits. The fans are the hungry guests paying any price, and the host nation is simply the one providing the free mansion, enduring the noise, and quietly pulling out their wallet to pay for the cleanup when the party is over.